everyone, this is Rajeev.
Hey everyone, it's Kevin.
So Kev, what are we doing today?
It's a good question. We'll be looking at a letter and seeing what the question is for today. So today we have a question from John from New Zealand, and he's asking, so why does the church continue to canonize saints?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've always kind of wondered that. The canonization, is that what it's called?
Yeah, canonization. The word canonization actually comes from the Greek word kanon, which means standard or measuring rod. And so the custom of canonization began in the early church by the process of popular acclamation. The Roman Catholic Church, ever since the 10th century, has officially applied the standard of holiness of life to certain individuals who live exemplary Christian lives.
Holiness, huh? You say holiness? But that's really just like for certain people, like St. Peter, like, you know, not everyone can be holy, right?
I don't think so. I mean, holiness is for everyone. So the Catechism of the Catholic Church actually speaks about the canonization of saints and the universal call to holiness. In Catechism of the Catholic Church 828, it says, by canonizing some of the faithful, the Church recognizes by the power of the Holy Spirit of holiness within her. In addition, she sustains the hope of the believers by proposing the saints to them as models and intercessors. The saints have always been the source and origin of renewal in the most difficult moments of the Church's history. Indeed, holiness is the hidden source and infallible measure of her apostolic activity and missionary zeal.
Wow, so you can really say the fruit of what the Catholic Church does is holiness, it's saints.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So, but wait, I still, it's not really clear. What is holiness exactly? Is it just for certain people, or is it for everyone?
Yeah, well, it's not limited to a certain people or a certain type of lifestyle, but it's for everyone. It's very interesting to recall the words of a Capuchin priest who defined holiness as, holiness is our confidence to look straight to the eyes of God. Mm-hmm. Holiness is our confidence to look straight into the eyes of God.
So Kev, when you were talking about holiness and saints, I was reminded of Canadian geese. Have you ever heard or have you seen Canadian geese?
Yeah, I actually have, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. With Canadian geese, they migrate using this very interesting V formation with an altitude of about 3,000 feet. And moreover, they cover about 2,400 kilometers in 24 hours. It's pretty interesting. And the goose in the middle of this V formation, he's the leader of the whole flock. He's the one who flies in the first row. He's the one who controls the whole flock. And he's the first one who faces danger.
I think the earthly pilgrimage can be compared to the migration of the Canadian geese, whereas the saints represent the leader of the Canadian geese. John Paul II speaks about the universal call to holiness in his post-synodal exhortation called Christi Fidelis Laici.
So, I get it. We need saints as models of holiness to look up to. But does the Catholic Church do this process like Hollywood makes movie stars? Is it like for select people?
No, not at all. Catholic saints are men and women who lived holy lives in obedience to God's will. And they became saints the moment they entered into heaven. And it's not just a proclamation of a pope that makes someone a saint, but it is the Holy Spirit who does the sanctifying, and it is Jesus who welcomes that saint into heaven. And so there are actually many saints who are enjoying the vision of the beatific vision right now, but perhaps they will never be canonized saints.
So that's why November 1st, we celebrate All Saints' Day. We're celebrating all these saints who we know are in heaven.
Exactly. So I'm sure by now you have a better understanding about the process of canonization, the saints, holiness, and what the saints are in general.
Right, Kev, this is the image that I'm left with. Street lamps, right? When we don't know the way where we're going, we look to the street lamps to give us the light. And that's what the saints are. The saints are the street lamps that guide our earthly pilgrimage to heaven. So Kev, can I be a saint?
Yeah, St. Ignatius of Loyola actually says, if he can be a saint, why can't I be a saint?
So, why can't you?